This is Peter Channel in Norton, Massachusetts. 50 degrees at 7:55 a.m. And good morning, everybody. It's time now for the morning news and the stories of Wednesday, May 13th, 2026. Hey, good morning to y'all on this lovely Wednesday morning, May 13th, 2026. It's 7:55 a.m. and it is 51 degrees and cloudy skies here in North Massachusetts at 7:55 a.m. Here on the night, and our top story is President Trump is headed to Beijing for high-stakes talks as Taiwan tensions, trade disputes, test his presidency. Gas tax holiday as Trump promises? Not so fast as truck and construction industry say. Street allies tell BBC that they expect him to challenge Starmer for leadership as soon as tomorrow. Your school district has probably scored worse than 10 years ago. Most U.S. doctors are quietly using this AI tool and few patients know about it. Hint the virus outbreak grows to 11 cases and 9 confirmed. Tech rapidly distrust some of the hopes for Trump's AI push. Health officials are monitoring Minnesota possibly exposed to hantavirus. Ex-CDC Director Robert Redfield says hantavirus will be dead end. Outbreak soon. Suspected hantavirus patients are being flown from the British islands of St. Helena and associated back to the United Kingdom as a precaution. Samsung Electronics labor talks break down, raising fears of a major strike. Lee meets Chinese vice premier ahead of a U.S.-China summit. Britain pledges drone jets worship to Strait of Hormuz mission. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's former chief of staff faces charges of money laundering to the tune of $8.9 million. The United States announced visa restrictions on 13 people linked to a U.S.-sanctioned India-based online pharmacy accused us of selling American fentanyl lace pills. Missouri Supreme Court upholds state GOP congressional map, saying a judicial body linked to 6 found dead in Laredo boxcar. Reference workers out will not back down after campaign bomb scare. Not Federer after Monday's mammoth fires at the Hawthorne Village Condominium Complex. Fire Chief Corbison, one of the worst fires in the town history, as North Federer has had a few massive fires in the history. Do you remember the witchy Jack Arena fire that took place on September 20th, 1979 on a Thursday? Yep, that's right, that burned down the witchy Jack Arena, which was known for wrestling matches and all sorts of things that took place, but it burned down on September 20th, 1979. Community showed support after North Federer fire. KC Classic Burger offers itself as a drop-off location for household essentials. As local businesses and organizations in the North Federer area are opening their doors as donation centers following Monday's civil alarm fire. However, a proposal to expand the city's wetland protection buffer from 25 to 50 feet was voted out as noted land use and sustainability. In Foxborough, a $106.4 million budget for the fiscal year starting July 1st was easily approved, but coverage and proposed new zoning for the former site rejected. In Taunton, Deep Pond Farms' giant new pavilion with a bar is open. Take a look. Quincy Council trims mayor's budget by $238,750 in the first budget hearing. And now take a look at the stocks at Dow at 56.09 at 49,716.56, S&P 511.88 at 7,496, and Nasdaq down 185.82 at 26.88.20. Time now for sports at 7:59. The Red Sox fall to the Philadelphia Phillies at Fenway Park 2-1. Sox feels grounded again. In NHL action, Buffalo Sabres beat the Montreal Canadiens 3-2 series tied, 2 games apiece. And Vegas good at 3 and Ducks 2. Vegas leads the series 3 games to 2. And NBA action, Senators Spurs 126, Minnesota Timberwolves 97. Spurs lead series 3 games to 2. In other Major League Baseball action, as Cleveland Guardians 3, LA Angels 2, Yankees 6, Baltimore Orioles 2, Pittsburgh Pirates 3, Colorado Rockies 1, Washington Nationals 10, Cincinnati Reds 4, Tampa Bay Rays 7, Toronto Blue Jays 6 and 10 innings, the New York Mets 10, Detroit Tigers 2, LA Rays 5, Cubs 2, White Sox 6, Kansas City Royals 5, Minnesota Twins 3, Miami Marlins 7, Milwaukee Brewers 6, San Diego Padres 4, Texas Rangers 7, Arizona Diamondbacks 4, Seattle Mariners 10, Houston Astros 2, St. Cardinals 6, Athletics 4, and San Francisco Giants 6, LA Dodgers 2. WNBA action, Atlanta Dream 77,000 Wings 72, Minnesota Lynx 88, Phoenix Mercury 84, and the Portland Fire 98, New York Liberty 96. Find up one big bounce back, put Spurs up for 3-2. Grizzlies 4, Clark 29, found 10 in California. Collins NBA's Riley Showers in full uniform that snap skin. Leg first women to try in the NASCAR double. And Thompson Sabres catch it after fluke bank shot. And today I got the Northland boys volleyball game at today's game at 5 o'clock. It's senior night, including Andrew Stroney, pumpkin pie. Peter Children's time is 8:01. Time now for travel watch. Baby, Baby West Line Train 514 630 from Western Star Train 5 minutes passing between Framingham and South Station. Great Bush Line Train 1057 705 here from South Station supported. South Station's operating 5 minutes late to the mechanical issue. And Havel Line Train 212 612 here from Havel's operating 5 minutes passing between Wyoming Hill and South Station and off station. And River Line Train 117 707 AM from North Station's operating 15 minutes passing between London to Bayport. Okay, let's take a look at our ways at Ballways, New England. 95 and south by side. It's back to between Protectown and Providence. 195, get a crash on Washington Bridge and east by side. So expect delays on 185 from 95 down to Washington Bridge. 185 westbound Soul between Seacock and East Providence. 95 north by side, back to Route 37 walk down to Route 185 and downtown Providence. 68 connector, a little bit over between Route 695 and downtown Providence. 146 Avenue, also between 15 and 95 in downtown Providence. 295 northbound also at Route 7 in Smithfield, and 295 stop in the back right at Johnson Stretch, and 95 stop in also between Work down at East Greenwich. Manor Bridge on the southbound side and Jamestown Bridge on the westbound side. The little bit of Route 4 is back between North Kingston down there it gets it. 195 looking good from St. Cloud to Wareham, out of the Cape. Route 60 spot also at Hyannis, and Route 60 spot also at the Sagamore Bridge, and Route 3 a little bit of Route 6 in Sagamore, and 28 at the northbound side. Southbound side also to the Bond Bridge. 24, it's backed up between Route 44 and the random stretch. 24, the northbound side also on Route 140 and the Taunton Stretch. 140 at the northbound side also the Taunton Stretch. 95, slow between Stop Base to the Shadow and the Route 128 Canton Stretch. Get an accident. 95, northbound side for Route 128 Canton, so expect delays. 24, it's backed up between 139 right off to the Route 128 Canton. Route 3 is backed up between Route 18 and Wayman down to Break 2 Split. 1 trader backed up on both ends between the split all the way down to the Break 2 Split, and 1 trader to the northbound side. Back between the split all the way down to Route 109 and Westwood, 7 expressways. Back between the Break 2 Split down to downtown Boston. That's the 93 northbound and Tiffany and Tunnel, so expect the delays. And Pike westbound side is back between Lower Bird down and South Boston. Pike eastbound side is back there between Route 9 and Fairman and on the Prue Tunnel. Pike westbound side, a little bit slower around the Logan Airport down the Prue Tunnel. Some tell South Castles look good. Route 1 slow between River to Charlestown. 93 stop in the back between Methuen down to Boston. 128 to the northbound side, so back between PBD down to Devers. 128 the back between Litchfield and down to Weston. Route 3 south also at 485. And then Chelsea Stretch 485. Northbound back to Chelsea Stretch and 3 on the southbound side. Also Route 128 and the Burlington Stretch at 485. Back to between Little Town and Westford at 485. Southbound back between Havel and all the way down to Lawrence and Andover Stretch. 208 eastbound also at 146 down to Route 9 and Worcester. Route 146 Little Bit at Worcester Stretch and 91 northbound also at Route 57 in Springfield, and 91 south of the back between 291 and 84 Harvard, Connecticut, and 84 eastbound between Farmington and Harvard, Connecticut. 84 eastbound to Cheshire, 84 westbound to Waterbury and Newtown stretches at Miller Parkway, slope between Shoaldown and Greenwich, and 95 south of the back between Serpent and Greenwich, and 89 south also at the Montpelier, Vermont, and Miller Parkway, and Everton back a little bit so at southbound side by the Manchester Airport. Peter Children's time, 8:04. Time now for weather. And looking at radar, shows some light rain on northern and western portions of Connecticut and from central western portions of Massachusetts and southern portions of Vermont and southern New Hampshire. And widespread rainfall of Thursday and Friday with 1 and 2 inches possible spots. A cold weather Friday given away the time to change this weekend and the next weekend for my unseasonable warmth. And our appreciable rainfall Thursday, later to Friday. High altitude pattern Thursday, Friday yields roughly a 48-hour period of Wet weather this area between the pattern continues as slow arrival time and rainfall, which much is after the need to dry across the mass. We're not going to expect a warm frontal. Showers this morning mainly compared to the Connecticut northern Massachusetts will become recently this afternoon continued early this evening with south winds gusting up between 30 miles an hour time. Says cloud cover and southerly winds of the ocean closer to be cap highs this afternoon to low mid 60s, about 5 degrees cooler than normal. Put the short waves streaming across the Great Lakes. So that takes southeast and evolves into the high altitude vertically close. School season low Thursday and the slowing tracks just south of the Wiggins Friday. This yields deep layer and thunder moisture infection in the summer of the Wiggins with parts greater than 1 inch and Thursday evening along with strong summer scale. Force and ascent this will be resulting in the widespread rain Thursday. Then transmitted lighter rain drizzle Friday as dry sun over the region. Rain will be moderate to heavy at times, giving a straight versus low level jet south jets. Possible upslope enhancement combined with some elevated visibility, widespread rainfall 0.5 1 inches, popping up to 2 inches possible per high should go. And samples I models, however, given rainfall will be spread out over 2 days, not expecting any flooding, but more beneficial rainfall with typical nuisance street highway flooding possible. However, Friday, given a pattern change this weekend and next week, much more ice about seasonal warfare, to and vertically, close low and associated call cover spotty light rain drizzle, especially Friday morning, the cold northeast flow with only plus 6 Celsius at 925 millibars, likely keeps higher in the 50s. Across the area Friday with close temperatures in eastern Massachusetts normalized at this time of the year is 65, 70 degrees. And over the weekend and the next weekend, a pattern change evolves with the northern stream jet the giving way to the subtropical range emerging and building it up along the east coast. And then samples indicate high probability for temperature as well into the mid upper 70s. And Saturday and continuing to warm into the low to mid 80s Sunday, possibly not quite as warm Monday, especially in the eastern Massachusetts. The backdoor cold front makes it far south of where I said. I seasonally warm weather continues early next weekend and likely peaks today with highest possible as warm as 85, 90 degrees and some guided streams 23 plus Celsius, 24 Celsius above as said. 925 millibars across the summer weekend. It will be relatively dry air mass, low humidity with 2% in the 50s and possibly rising in the low to 60s believing on Tuesday. Okay, forecast. It goes like this. Slight gentle showers between 10 and 11 a.m. Mostly clouds got about 64 degrees, some about 50 miles high, 29 miles an hour, just making 20% tonight. Clouds got about 49 degrees, some about 6 to 10 miles high, 22 miles after Thursday. Showers of thunderstorm after 2 p.m., punchy fog after 4 p.m. 163 at a low, 46 degrees. And new rain amounts about a quarter and a half an inch possible for Friday. Shower main before 4 p.m. 158, low 45 degrees. And north about 8 miles an hour, chest pages 80% for Saturday. Mostly skies got about 76, low 54 degrees. And southwest about 5 to 11 miles an hour for Sunday. South got about 60, 82, low 54 degrees. And westward about 8 to 10 miles an hour gets high. 20 miles an hour for Monday. South got about 78, low 52 degrees. And Calvin coming southeast about 5 to 8 miles in the afternoon for Tuesday. South got about 82 degrees. And south about 5 to 11 miles an hour right now. North temperature 53 degrees and cloud skies. And that's going to be it for our morning report on this May 13th, 2026 on a Wednesday morning. Peter J. Wiggins, have a good morning, my attitude. Stay safe, be positive, be healthy, be well. Have a good day and good morning.